my old. Also, then what it's gonna do, it's gonna. That's gonna do all that. So you have.
Today, May 20th, 2025, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Morris County Board of Commissioners will come to order. Please stand and say the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, Mr. Chair.
Morning, everybody.
Morning, Mr. Chair.
Additions or deletions to the agenda,
Not this time.
Commissioners?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Winter,
I can second.
seconded by Commissioner Casper. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Employee recognition, or no, sorry, number 4, Memorial Day observation. Commissioner Moran sent me an article written by Chaplain Valentine, and we thought it would be a good idea to have him come forward today and tell us about Memorial Day and what it means to him. Welcome.
Use the mic.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
All right, how will we do this?
Well, I just want to remind all of us about Memorial Day as a recognition and remembrance and commemoration of the fallen who've given us the opportunity for freedom in this country. Oh, okay. Thank you. And I just want to say, because I won't be able to stay, we just had a death call, but wanted to say how much I love Mary Swans. All right, we'll start with that. Many people just see this as a weekend to get together, to have a party, to have a cookout, make your famous piece of brisket, open up the cabin, have extra time to do things at the house. But true patriots take a moment to attend the Memorial Day services that will be taking place in our county and throughout our country. It's a time to say, I know the freedom that I have been given as a gift to be received, but I also realize that free is not free, and we must realize it as a right to be preserved. And we live in an unusual time when people want to erase or cancel our history, tear down our statues, try to forget the past, but we dare not allow this to happen. People who forget their history and the mistakes that were made are bound to repeat those mistakes. Therefore, we must realize that our freedom was paid for with the blood and treasure that God gave us in our citizenry. One quote from Douglas MacArthur reminds me every day of the important role that we play in keeping the freedom that we've been able to enjoy and have been given. Quote, no man is entitled to the blessings of freedom unless he be vigilant in its preservation. My last sentence would be, thanks be to God that we stand on the broad shoulders of the men and women who are willing to be vigilant in the preservation of our freedom. Let's stand in 1 minute of silence for those who have fallen. Father, we thank you for those who have given their lives. The scripture reminds us in the Gospel of John, no greater love is there than this, that a man lay his life down for his friends. All gave some, but some gave all. And Lord, we remember them this weekend. As we go into the weekend, help us to realize that freedom is not free, and we must be vigilant in its preservation. We ask these things in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
When did they start saying, isn't there supposed to be some sort of separation going on? Can they say a prayer at a public meeting like that?
All right.
Employee recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd invite Sean up and for a new employee introduction to get this kicked off this morning.
Morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board.
Morning, sir.
I don't know about you guys, but my hair's still standing on my neck from Chappie. He does a good
Great
job.
job.
I have with me Amy Kruger. She was the HR director for Boylston High School, as well as the, got my notes here, community education director. So she's gonna be taking over for Mary. She's gonna be our new office support supervisor. As you're aware, Mary's last day is May 30th. So we're happy to have her. She's got a lot of education. She's got a master's in leadership. And she's gonna bring a lot to the table. So just wanted to make sure that you guys saw her face and wanted to do the introduction. So thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome, Amy. Thank you, Sheriff.
Sheriff, and Mary, come on up. We'll roll right into a couple retirements today. And I'll, turn it over to Sheriff for comment first.
All right, try and do this without crying, I guess. Yeah. I guess we knew this day was coming. Mary's got over 24 and a half years with us as our office support supervisor. She's worked for 3 different sheriffs. She's obviously seen some change from the start of her job to where we're at now. She's really, everything's in her title, office support supervisor. She's supported all staff. She's supported the community. She's supported different entities within county government. And she just does a phenomenal job. She's our pivotal person. She's the cornerstone to our agency. So we're definitely gonna miss her, and we're wishing her well for the next chapter as well. So just don't be a stranger.
Yeah, thanks, Sheriff. So Mary, good morning. Can I go out right away? And everybody who's here, thanks for being here. This is a great day where we're gonna recognize 2 wonderful ladies. We'd be very, very happy for them. But with almost 55 years of experience, that's amazing. But Mary gets to go first. Mr. Chair, thank you for the opportunity to recognize these folks for all that they do. We're a people business. This is what we're here for. And we couldn't have done it without you. So Mary, you know, and on a personal side, you know, there are a couple other folks. You get to see Linda, get to see, you know, Christine, get to see, you know, Melissa as you walk in. But Mary's usually the office I dip into. And that's where I get my first piece of counsel for the day. As I walk into the sheriff's office, get a read on the temperature of things and how the sheriff's office, you know, what kind of pressures are you under, or what's happening out there. And sometimes what kind of mood is Sean? It's open. But thank you for your sage counsel, wise advice. Certainly will be missed. I'm not gonna say bittersweet, I'm just gonna say very happy for you and Dean. And you both transition into what we all hope to achieve one day. And that's time to just spend with our family and friends and not worry about the alarm clock, listen to the birds chirp and get out of bed when you want to. But I know you won't be a stranger. I know we've got some more sessions scheduled here in the months to come and more debriefing, I think. But Mary, like the sheriff said, pivotal cornerstone, one that we look to, and does way more than anybody recognizes. But Mary, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, want to give you this very small token of appreciation. It's a print of the historic courthouse that, you know, thank you for your dedicated service and for making Morrison County a place that our residents are proud to call home. You will be missed. Signed by the Board of Commissioners and covers your years of service here to Morrison County. So please give me a round of applause for Mary. You think that, I'll come back to you. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Administrator Law. Thank you, Mary, for your years of service, and most importantly, enjoy your retirement. We're so happy for you. You will be missed. Mr. Winter?
I don't go down to the sheriff's office that often. I see Mary, you know, it's gonna make your day better. And I don't think I've ever came in there where she had a sour day. Not everybody here at County always has good vibes, but she really picks it up, and it's always been a pleasure for me when you go down there and talk to, if I wanna talk to somebody else in the sheriff's department. So you'll be missed. There's no question about that. So thank you for your service.
Mr. Casper?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mary, this is the thing, congratulations to you. It's a bittersweet thing. And just a little deal, when someone like you retires, a piece of our heart goes with. And that piece isn't gonna grow back. You'll be sadly missed and congratulations. Enjoy yourself. God bless you. Yes, thank you for all your hard labors. Thank you for steering the ship.
Mr. Blake?
I'll just say I'm very, very happy for you and your husband and for unlocking the door to the next chapter here now. You have that signature smile, that will be missed by me, but your positive attitude, I think, is something that's been very infectious and hopefully that will be continued here. Even with you moving on, but I'm very, very happy for you.
Should we get a picture?
We would love to get a picture, but Mary, anything you want to say?
Thank you.
We're gonna take a series of pictures, so we'll do Mary, and then we'll ask Dean to come up, and then we'll have the SO staff come up, so can you join the board, please? Dean, you might as well get stage, you'll be coming up here next. There you go. Hey, Mary.
No, thank you.
So happy for you.
Thank you. That's great.
They're ready for you now. What do you need?
Mine's not gonna work.
Gonna have, she's got a mechanical.
Technical difficulty.
That we don't need.
Houston Lim,
Dean, can you join them, please?
Mine, Dave.
And the SO staff, if anybody wants to be in this picture with Mary, please come up.
Randy, you should come a little closer. I'm sorry.
Gotta go one way or the other. There you go. That's better. And smile.
I need to know that we have
Yeah. I'll stand by this work with it. I don't want to suffer again. I don't know.
Yes. Live.
You can sing it.
Fancy Bob.
Oh, you can't see me. It's okay. Bobby, go get him.
That's fine.
Go back to you, Bob.
how's that?
He's nice too. So we have to get him a little block. No, big block.
They're used to it. I'll stand on the side. Me? Yeah. Or. See Ed? Can you see?
Awesome.
Thanks, great, good day.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for good work.
Stay dry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Have a good day. Thanks for coming on this. You.
Sorry, I'm not good on-
You did great.
Thank you.
I did not.
All right, okay, coming up, let's bring Joy up here.
Yeah.
I don't think.
as promised, we had 2 retirees to recognize today, and our second one there is Joey Leidenfrost. A quick 30 years, but I'll turn over the bottom of it.
When I thought about today and what I wanted to say about Joy is that first thing that always comes to my mind is you're hardworking, always willing to help, extremely creative and talented. Never shies away from a project, that's for sure. You always know where you stand with her, she'll let you know, so. It can be great most days. She's all around really just a great team member. She'll chip in wherever she can and you'll definitely be missed. You'll leave a big void for us. Thank you.
Thanks, Bonnie. Yeah, in my short time here, getting to know Joy, we've got to grow up with Greg, the boy, and that was kind of my in, for discussions with Joy to find out, grandmother. I think she told us she maybe got even a few more. Great grandmother. Yeah, and then to learn about Billy and kind of understand where they've been and where they're at as a family, and we're super excited to be able to come over there and spend more time with family. But like Bonnie said, unfiltered or unfettered or honest and feedback, or however you want to put it, but it's so cherished because anytime I talked to Joy about it, she also came with solutions. It wasn't just a problem, it was a problem, and then here's the solution or a proposed recommendation. Sometimes we could do them, sometimes we couldn't, but I appreciated a solutions focused mindset, and she provided that. Always had time to stop and get caught up with how things are going on the other side of the wall right there, as busy as things might be. Always participating, as we try to do things around here to make it a little bit different environment and make it a positive culture. Joy's right there in the front, decorating her cubicle, making it look like a winter wonderland, or participating in any other contest that HHS can dream up. Joy's right there leading her team with the members there. And then probably one of the things that, I'm just keep thinking about when I think about Joy's, our holiday gathering here a couple of years ago. And we did it out at the Pierce Ballroom. And HHS had Point Down, and Joy volunteered to take care of all the centerpieces. And I don't know how many were in there, 60, 70, I don't know, there was a bunch of tables and every one of them had something on it. And that's, that's an event that describes a person. She knows her job, she's a consummate professional, she knows that piece of it, she knows how to engage families and works hard to hold folks accountable. But then that's what she does outside of all of that. She gives back to the organization. She invests in the organization, that culture and climate that we're trying to set it up here. So, and I know it's a tough time for you then too. So I'm eternally grateful for that. I want to wish you all the best of luck. And I thank you for your quick 30 years with Morrison County. So, once again, on behalf of the Morrison County Board of Commissioners, I offer this very small token of appreciation to our print of our beautiful building. Thank you for your dedicated service and for making Morrison County a place that our residents are proud to call home. You will be missed. Joy Leidenfrost, 1995 to 2020. Round of applause for Joy.
No, I started like that. Yep.
Okay, she was inspired by Mary. Mr. Chair.
I just want to say thank you for the 30 years to the constituents of Morrison County. You will be sad and missed, but we do wish you the most happiest time in your retirement, and you don't look old enough to be retired. So, enjoy. Mr. Blaine?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and this is a kind of a revelation point for me. Everything that has been said about you and that describes you and your work is exactly the kind of person I'd like to work with on a daily basis. And I feel I somehow cheated myself in that opportunity to get the opportunity to maybe engage better and get to know the people here. And I'm grateful for your 30 years of commitment to to this organization and this family. But I do say that I wish that I would have had the opportunity to maybe experience some of those great traits that you shared with everyone else over that period of time. And I admire everything that's been shared about you. You obviously will be the whole here, so my best to you in the future.
Mr. Casper?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Joy. Yeah, you know what, for those of you that don't know it, Joy and I and her brothers and sister practically grew up together. Her husband, Billy, close friend of mine through the years. And, Joy, I know you, I know your family, bunch of Spitfires, firecrackers. Yeah, you're not gonna back away or be still. You will be sadly missed. You're the type of person that will make way when there seems to be no way. The Lord will push you through. And I'm so happy for you, but yet my heart's torn because we're gonna miss you sick. God bless you in your retirement. You're welcome.
Mr. Witcher?
To jump on what, Mr. Casper, I've known him for a couple of years going back, maybe longer than we want to talk about, but will be, no question about it, but most of all, enjoy those grandchildren, enjoy those other days that now that you're out of here, you don't have to worry about it. Like your administrator said, you don't have to worry about, the alarm clock going off, or you gotta go to work, but you're gonna get busier than you think you are now. Again, enjoy your additional years that you have after. So thank you, Joyce, for the service. That's special.
We have a picture?
Photo.
Thanks, Joy. And then we're gonna have our team, the team come up first, and then the rest of the BCHS staff that wants to join.
It's not cheap.
I don't want to know about you, get up there, you know, or.
That's good. All right, Bonnie's team, start moving up here.
Thank you, thank you. June second. I'll get that at the end of the month, you know.
Yeah.
What month for your insurance? You know, we gotta get that last freaking dollar, right?
Do one more. Yeah, that needs some other stuff. All right.
Buddies.
Somebody go on and.
I don't. Bite.
Second.
No, you're gonna stay right.
So,
You're right like that,
I think we're good.
right like that. All right, no, one more, we got one more here.
On this end, Nate,
Yeah, Nate, come on through.
I think it's lopsided.
Nate? Yeah.
I see you.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
There you go.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
And fine. Thank you.
The one more thing, y'all, for doing things.
And you can control. Thank you.
It's good.
Okay.
Yeah. I grabbed the chair here, Randy.
If that works for you, if it works for you.
They want.
I'm around all week, so.
It's okay.
It is, right there.
There you go.
Well.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes employee recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Well, next on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda that anyone would like to remove for further discussions? What's the wish of the board?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented to us.
Motion made by Commissioner Blaine,
I'll second it.
second by Commissioner Moran. Discussion? Hearing none, this will be a roll call. Commissioner Blaine,
Aye.
Commissioner Casper,
Aye.
Commissioner Winter,
Aye.
Commissioner Moran,
Aye.
myself, Commissioner Lemire is aye, motion carried. Next on the agenda, month of the military spouse proclamation. Morning, Chris.
Morning.
Morning.
Well, thank you, commissioners and Lemire. It was amazing listening to the chaplain as we had that. So I'd like to introduce ourselves today. I'm Chris Lundberg with the Veterans Office. And I also have,
Take water.
and Nick just happens to have a spouse that was a military spouse. You have Matt, who has a military spouse. You look around the community, everyone has military spouses. And you brought it to our attention last, when we did Month of the Military Child. So I would just be so thankful. And I want to reach out to every spouse that's out there and say, those people carry the brunt of all of the weight when the veteran or the soldier goes away to a deployment or elsewhere. And that one person has to take on a role as a single parent. And they have to figure out their resources and they have to do more than was ever expected. They didn't join the military. And so I do want to say thank you for bringing that to my attention because the spouses act as the single parent when the veteran does go. Do you have any questions or shall I?
Yeah, could you read your proclamation, please?
Yes, sir. The month of the Military Spouse Proclamation. Whereas military spouses embody resilience, sacrifice, and unwavering dedication, supporting our service members and strengthening the fabric of our nation. And whereas these spouses, through long separations, frequent relocations, and the challenges of military life, remain steadfast in their commitment to their families, their communities, and our country. And whereas military spouses play a vital role in fostering stability, often serving as both parent and caregiver, offering support and encouragement through the times of uncertainty. And whereas their sacrifices echo the commitment of our brave service members, making them the backbone of military families and essential pillar of our nation's strength. And whereas we recognize the importance of supporting military spouses through initiatives that enhance career opportunities, provide access to quality childcare, and encourage comprehensive family resources. And whereas it is our duty to express our deepest gratitude to those who serve without uniform, who endure without recognition, and who remain unwavering in their support of our armed forces. Now, therefore, it be resolved, the Morrison County Veterans Service Office, on behalf of Morrison County, Minnesota, does hereby proclaim May as Month of the Military Spouse and urges all residents to join in honoring the courage, commitment, and sacrifices of military spouses across the nation. Dated 20th day of May, 2025.
Thank you, Chris. Commissioners?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Winter,
Second.
second by Commissioner Casper. Discussion?
Thank you, Chris, for
Commissioner Moran, go ahead.
thanks for taking the time to recognize these men and women that hold down the fort while the other ones are gone. And, it's a big responsibility here in America or wherever, when these other guys or gals are out doing what they need to do for our country. And it's greatly appreciated. Thanks.
Commissioner Casper?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, Chris, thank you for recognizing these folks. I think each one of us, if we search our heart, we know someone pretty close to home. I know my son-in-law is in the Air Force and, over in the Air Guard, so he's over in Norway right now. And I know my daughter, misses him battling and running the kids to and fro and taking care of things. It, leaves a hole in your heart when your mainstay goes over to protect our country. Thank you so much for recognizing these folks. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris, for bringing this forward, and thank you, Nick, for being here, and thank your wife for the sacrifice that she's done for you and for the country, and to all the spouses out there. We're a military family. We appreciate everything that they do, and they're lucky to have you too, and for our resources, and we appreciate that very much. Thank you. Got a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
We need a picture, Mr. Chair.
You should have invited the wives
Yeah.
or spouses. Doesn't have to be a wife.
Yeah.
That's right. Right.
Or Nick.
One more. Let's see. How's everything going?
I think.
Pretty good. 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 You can read.
Fine. Got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, great. Let me get that.
See Medical Services Week proclamation. Good morning. We could have you state your name for the record.
Good morning. My name is Ely Dees. I'm the operational supervisor for Mayo Clinic Ambulance.
Marion Larson, the regional EMS coordinator.
And we both would like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to go before you. I'm sorry, Mike, did you have something?
No, no.
So our proclamation is obviously for Emergency Medical Services Week. Proclamation by the Morrison County Public Safety Group to designate the week of May 18th through the 24th, 2025 as Emergency Medical Services Week. Whereas emergency medical services play a critical role in public service, and whereas emergency medical service teams are prepared to offer life-saving assistance for those in need around the clock every day of the year. And whereas access to high-quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas emergency medical services fills a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including volunteer first response teams, community resource, preventative medicine, follow-up care, and telemedicine access. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency dispatchers, firefighters, law enforcement officers, public health, emergency preparedness coordinators, emergency nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other medical care providers. And whereas the members of the emergency medical services team, with whether career or volunteer, undergo thousands of hours of specialized training and continue education to improve their life-saving skills. And whereas designating Emergency Medical Services Week is a fitting way to acknowledge the achievements and importance of emergency medical service providers. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Board of the Morrison County Commissioners of the Great of Minnesota, in recognition of the event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through the 24th, 2025, Emergency Medical Services Week in Morrison County. And we call this observance to the attention of all our citizens and encourage the community to show appreciation.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chair.
Motion made by Commissioner Blaine, second by Commissioner Winchester. Discussion? Commissioner Blaine?
Mr. Chair, thank you. And this is an important week. This is an important time to take this opportunity to recognize these people. Are first on the scene in a time of needed critical care. I probably can't articulate how important this is to me, knowing and experiencing an event at a farm where this where a first responder was the first person on the scene. Mr. Chair, I think this is a great use of our time in recognizing this and moving this proclamation.
Commissioner Moran?
I'd just like to thank Mary, and she does a great job. I've met her a couple of times, but as the regional supervisor, she does a great job. She's organized, does a good job of coordinating everything. And the public safety award thing we had out at the hangars recognized some great individuals out there, many, many years of experience, a lot of these people, and just like to say thanks.
And I would like to say thanks too. Thank you for being here today, Mr. Deeb. We appreciate everything that Mayo Clinic Ambulance does for our first responders. And I don't know where we'd be without the great first responders we have in Morrison County. We're very, very fortunate. And when the call comes, it doesn't matter if they're at the supper table or they're sleeping or it's Christmas or it's Easter, they're out there and they're providing life-saving care before the ambulance can arrive. And we're very fortunate to have the teams we have out there.
I would have to agree. I mean, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir, but Morrison County has some extremely dedicated first responders. We recognized them in April at the public safety event. And one thing that consistently came up in their nominations was that they are dedicated, they are leaders, and they really care for their communities. We took a moment this year to create a new award for a specific Morrison County responder. The Live Like Linda Day Award. As many of you know, Linda was a dispatcher here at Morrison County, but she was more than that. She was an absolute first responder. And she was really the hub of the first responder community, and she had amazing communication skills and coordination skills and grace under fire. So taking her attributes, the group decided that Kim Skiba was that person who embodied those years and recognized her with the first ideally annual Live Like Them award. Morrison County is the envy of many other places because of your first responders and their coordination and their synergy with Mayo, with each other. So hats off to you for growing such a strong community here in Morrison County.
Anything else, commissioners?
We are blessed, so.
You want?
Hearing none.
So are we, honestly, I feel it's a good family. Good morning.
Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. Chair, just before we ask Marion to come up and the gentleman from Mayo, did you want to go through these slides or not? Or are they just part of the packet? Okay,
Would like to.
I think they speak for themselves. They're very nicely done, gentlemen, in your packet for board this week. There's several slides in there as you just highlighted Ms. Skiba receiving the Live Like Linda and award. And then you'll see others in there that were recognized at the recognition event at Camp Ripley that Commissioner Moran helped preside over. But thank you, Marion. We'll take a photo.
I see, I feel like you're fine.
Is he supposed to be up here too? You got the right. Yeah. Come on. You're holding up the show. Yeah, Sean, you want to take one of his phone?
I'll go on the other side. All right, what's your code?
Yeah.
Hey, Paul, make sure how you doing?
You can come right here, that boy. Is there? Don't mind.
Thank you.
Now, thanks for coming up.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Appreciate you.
Keep Marion.
Thank you.
Nice seeing you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I was gonna hand it to you.
Thank you.
I had you covered.
That is in them. What do you think? What else do you think I don't have enough letters? That's not enough. You will.
You're on, Sean.
They only have letters and numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Morning, Sheriff. Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Sarah.
So thanks for having me. Good to go.
Ready to, yep, whenever you're ready.
So I was just gonna go over the 2024 annual report. I have a packet in front of me for you guys. It's digitized, but the first few pages just include a cover letter, some highlights and challenges that our office faced in 2024. After that, you'll notice there's an organizational chart that includes the different positions, divisions, lines of authority within our agency, as well as number of personnel. You'll also notice there's a list of 28 sheriffs dated back to 1856, with their first sheriff from Morrison County was established to present. And then the last couple pages are this packet, I guess, would be a list of employees at the Morrison County Sheriff's Office. So that's the first handful of pages.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
What was the term limit for sheriffs when they first started? Or not term limits, but when they got voted in, was it a 2-year?
I'm assuming, Mr. Chair, that it was 2-year, because as I went down and checked every
Yeah.
sheriff, the first few years it was 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. What's important to point out is, there was a sheriff in here that, I think it was Paul Felix, was the longest lasting sheriff. So he would be ranked number 1, followed by Paul Cheetah, number 2 with 20 years. And then, Mikkel Wetzel with 12 years. So those are the 3 highest,
Going for 20? No?
we'll see.
You can continue.
All right. My plan, before we get into this, is just kind of go through this. If you have questions, just make a note and then I'll come and answer everyone's questions after I'm done, if that's gonna work. And then I do have 2 guest speakers because I think the jail programs are very important. And we're offering Teen Challenge. We're gonna have Tim Brummer kind of speak about that. And then I have Becky Olson from Little Falls, who's a volunteer at jail, and she's been offering a creative writing class, and I kind of wanted her to be recognized and speak at that, if that's okay. So going through the 2024 review, you'll see I have the page numbered. We'll start with page 1. We had 10,785 complaints in 2024. So just a slight decrease from 11,289. You'll see traffic enforcement. We had basically 3 less stops in 2024 than we did in 2023. And of course, this varies year to year, and there's different circumstances why that exists, but kind of gives you a rundown. We had 3,179 traffic stops in 2024. Complaints per year, there's a graph on the very bottom. You'll see on the far left, it's 2014. The far right of that bar graph is 2024. Basically, it's a vertical bar depicting the number of complaints per year within the last 10 years. So it kind of gives you a visual of where we're at. You can see there were some higher years when COVID came around, and now it's starting to drop off just a little bit. Driving under the influence, DUIs, you'll notice if you look to the far right, the orange is going to be 2024. The blue is going to be labeled 2023. The far right, you're going to see we had 110 total DWIs compared to 116 in 2023. So not much difference there. Outside of the categories are a little different. We had more alcohol, a little less drugs, and some more refusals. Going down to the Morrison County Jail body scanner. If you remember, I believe it was February 2023, we had 6 overdoses. We had some narcotics smuggled into our jail, and we worked with the board, and you guys were gracious enough to, we're able to work together and find some funding out of our housing inmate fund where we're able to put some money towards this. Basically, it's a vertical scanning technology. The inmate goes in, stands up. You'll see on the back page, kind of an example of the next page, page 2, where they just go into this body scanner, they stand and they get scanned. So this came around April of 2024. That's when we fully implemented it. From April 2024 throughout the remainder of the year, there was 824 inmates that were booked into our facility. The scanner went off 1,011 times. So the scanner went off not only for those 824 inmates, but we also offer work release if it's ordered by the courts and okay by the sheriff's office. So those people going out for work release, before they come back and they're allowed into our detention center, our jail, they have to be scanned again. That's why the number's up a little bit more. So the biggest thing to point out here is we had to use Narcan not only in 2022, 2023. Since we've implemented this body scanner, we haven't had to use Narcan at all. We haven't had any overdoses at all. So this is clearly a deterrent and it's already paying dividends. So I want to highlight that. Body cameras. If you remember, we went to body cameras in our jail. So 2024, we came with body cameras. It got, we implemented it in August of 2024. I worked with the jail administrator trying to figure out, hey, how many times is this body camera, how many recordings has it taken? And it was 4,304 as of August 13, 2024 through the end of the year. Just so you're aware, anytime there's a wellness check, anytime an inmate gets booked in, anytime there's a situation that may involve a conflict, a dispute, an argument, our staff has to self-initiate the recording. They have to press a button and then it'll start recording. I don't want to confuse anybody, but the body cam's always recording, even if you don't push the button. It's just, you're not going to pick the audio up unless you actually push the button. Once you push the button, then the audio is going to be picked up as well as the video itself. Little jail recap. In 2024, we averaged 47 inmates per day. And then, of course, we booked inmates or housed inmates from Beltrami and Itasca County. And that 47 includes our own county inmates as well from Morrison. We had $426,985 in revenue from housing out-of-county inmates. And that's pretty impressive. If you look at the graph under that, you'll see the red is 2024, the blue is 2023. So in comparison, our revenue was $426,985 compared to $420,295. If you remember, we started that Beltrami contract, and that's why this increase is where it's at today. Overall in the chart are Huber, our pay to stay. So Huber's like, again, if the court orders it and they can work in the county, they're allowed to go to work, but they have to pay us a fee. And it has to be accepted by the courts and the sheriff's office for them to work. So they're paying us a fee so they can go and work. So Huber went up, our pay to stay compared to 2023 went up. Booking fees down just a little bit, fingerprint fees went up a little as well. Our inmate count, you'll notice that we had 1,436 males in the red, which represents 2024, and our female count was down a little bit. And that's because when we're doing our contract with Beltrami, we have way more room for males than we do females. Moving on to our jail program, that's when I'm going to call the next two speakers up. It's going to be a little bit, I'll just kind of breeze through this quick. That's when I'll call up Tim Brummer and Becky Olson. But to move on to our SWAT team, you'll see a couple pictures on top. That's our MRAP. It's a mine-resistant, ambush-protected weapon. It's fully armored. We got it off what's called the military 1033 lease program. It doesn't cost us anything outside of, we have to do maintenance on it. There's a hydraulic ram that's mounted on the front of this MRAP, and you can kind of see a picture of it. What you don't see is there's two 8-foot sections of square tubing that can go onto this hydraulic mount, if you will, and then the ram just gets placed on the very end of that square tubing. So why do we use that? Well, basically it's used for breaching and or opening doors or any type of barricade that we have to go through. It could be a barricaded armed subject. It could be a hostage rescue when entry needs to be made quickly and safely. It provides minimal risk to our operators. We always say the most dangerous part of the job is your first contact. And if we can stay in that armored vehicle and we can do things from that armored vehicle without risking our personnel, then we're way ahead of the game. So a couple highlights on the SWAT team. Joel Gross is our patrol sergeant. He stepped down from the commander position, so I wanted you guys to know as a board, we do have a new commander. His name is Sergeant Derek Nagorski. He's from the Little Falls Police Department. We're still gonna maintain and operate the budget, but speaking with Sergeant Gross and some of the team leaders, this was the conclusion we came up with, that he'd be the next fit for commander. Sergeant Nagorski is a 14-year veteran on the team. And our SWAT team is comprised of not only Little Falls Police Department members, but also Morrison County Sheriff's Office members as well. Next page, you're gonna see they did some work on dismantling the house. It's actually Mary Swenson's house. It's an older house that she allowed us to do some training on. If you hear the community people talking about, hey, I got this old house or I got this old barn, I don't know what to do. Think of us. We definitely like to get involved with these training scenarios so we can make entries if it's suitable and stable enough to do so. But if it's just dismantling, it's a good tool for us to use with our MRAP. Basically, we go back to the RAM. There's a joystick inside of that MRAP, and that joystick can be operated from inside. And of course, there's up, down, left, and right. And it's pretty much standard from there. So that's how our team utilized the RAM to dismantle this place. The next is the Sheriff's Office front office. It's just an overview of their positions. So we got administrative support staff, office supervisor, administrative support specialist, records technician, civil process specialist, and jail administrative specialist. You'll see their photo below. Basically, this whole article is just an overview of their positions to include duties, responsibilities, trainings that they take, etc. Mental health. We've been tracking this for the last couple of years. In 2024, we had 143 calls. It's important to point out this does not include the Little Falls Police Department and on the small towns. This number is just the sheriff's office. So we had 143 calls. 77 of those calls for service were related to suicidal calls. 49 individuals were transported for follow-up services, whether that was by ambulance, a law enforcement officer, and or a personal vehicle. So you'll notice the chart below, again, the orange is 2024, the blue is 2023. You'll see the overall calls, 143, and then our suicidal calls, 77, which equates to 54% of our calls are suicidal related. Now you might ask, what does that mean? It could be somebody just saying to a friend, to a spouse, to a loved one, you know what, I'm not feeling great, I think I'm gonna kill myself, but maybe they don't go into explanation. It could be as simple as that. We're showing up, we're intervening, we're providing services. Next year, I want to come forward with statistics regarding our embedded social worker, but she didn't start till December of 2024, so it doesn't really make sense to kind of talk about that till we get some more stats and providing more information. If you look at our jail mental health, we had 1,167 inmates that were booked in. That's going to be that chart on the top right labeled jail mental health. And you'll see the orange, 1,167 inmates. So the number of inmates booked in went down a little bit, but you'll see 373 inmates were basically given mental health services. So that's 32% of our inmates booked in were given mental health services compared to 26% last year. Our medical examiner cases, that gets a little interesting. I'll try and explain this the best I can. If you look at the chart labeled deaths, again, we're in 2024 is going to be orange, blue is going to be 2023. We had 311 deaths total. So pretty comparable to the year before, down just a little bit. But then you look at the cases that the medical examiner took ownership of, and that's going to be 241 cases versus 227. Out of those cases in 2024, 204 of those were declined. In other words, deputy shows up on scene, we act as the coroner, We do our investigation, we contact Midwest Medical Examiner's Office out of Anoka County. We tell them what's going on, what the scene looks like. If there's nothing suspicious, we tell them that. They get the history of the medical to include any prescription drugs that they may be on, et cetera. They want to know who the primary doctor is. And if there's nothing suspicious and they're 90 years old and they died in their sleep or whatever the case may be, they're gonna say, you know what, release the body to the funeral. However, if they assume the case, that means they're doing something. That means we're probably transporting that body. Morris County Sheriff's Office, we're transporting that body to the medical examiner's office. We have our own designated body transport van for that. So you'll see in 2024, we assumed, our medical examiner's office assumed 37 of those cases. So that's 15% of the bodies they assume for autopsy purposes. Now, getting back to the total deaths, that number comes from non-reportable cases, typically natural deaths in a hospital. If you're inpatient, could be a nursing home or a skilled nursing facility. They're gonna just report it, but there's no interaction with us and or their office outside of the report. One chart I wanted to point out, it's accidental deaths. And again, the orange is 2024, the blue is 2023. You're gonna notice there was 5 deaths concerning drug and substance abuse. There was 17 blunt force, and there was 22 total accidental death cases. So I kind of dug into the death cases with drugs. I kind of want to know what's going on there. So it was 3 males and 2 females that died of drug abuse. The ages were 36, 39, 40, 44, and the oldest being 71. So then I kind of dug into, okay, what were the drugs in their system when they did the autopsies? There was 2 that had contributing factors of fentanyl in their system, and then there were 3 individuals with methamphetamine in their system. That kind of paints a picture of what's going on here. 3 of the overdoses occurred in the city of Little Falls. 2 of the drug overdoses were in the county. Moving on to Project Lifesaver. We're trying to promote this because Project Lifesaver, if you have somebody that has Alzheimer's disease, autism, Down syndrome, if they have the ability to kind of wander off, we want people to know that we have this here in Morrison County. We have a team of personnel who train for this, so we can locate them if they do wander off. So what it is, there's a picture to the right. You'll see there's a photo of a bracelet transmitter. It's like a little wristband, and it's got a circular battery that gives off a radio frequency. And then there's an antenna. It's called a transmitter tracking device. So we can get called if little Johnny wanders off and he has autism. We're gonna bring our little transmitter tracking device with, and we're gonna start setting up around where the last known place that he took off. And we're gonna start getting a signal. And it could be 3 miles away. And that signal might be weak, but we're gonna keep going until we get that signal. And that signal is gonna continue to increase and get louder and transmit more as we get closer. And we should be able to get within feet of little Johnny if we get a call right away. So we meet once a month and we're checking these batteries and we're replacing batteries to make sure that that client that we're working with always has a good battery. And if we do get that call, we're gonna be ready. So we train, we have a team doing this. Sergeant Rushlow and Deputy Nathan Prisaville are contact people for this. We currently have 6 clients on the program. The initial setup fee is $350. That includes your first year. And then it's $15 a month. So I think it's a good program. I know there's a lot of times we go to a scene and it might be the same person wanders off 2 or 3 times. So we're right away, we're telling these people, hey, there's a system, there's a program here. Look into it. It's going to help us find your loved one if they wander off. Ellis training, just to highlight that, Deputy Jordan Geisey and Deputy Mark Divizinski, they kind of run that program. Ellis stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate. Doesn't necessarily have to be in that order, but that's what we teach. In 2024, we had training across the county to include schools, local businesses, even entities within our government center here, and community organizations. So it's tailored to the needs of the group. And what our goal is just to get everybody prepared in case an active shooter and or a critical incident occurs. That's free of charge and it's community wide. We're gonna help anybody that asks for help regarding that. 911 Communication Center, that's our dispatch staff. They work 24/7. And then it kind of includes the different entities who we dispatch for. DARE, we brought DARE back to our community. It's been a hit. Deputy Ethan Wise went to a 2-week training. It's a 10-week curriculum. And we're offering that to schools right now, Upland, Swanville, because they have no municipal police department. Deputy Ethan Wise is doing the program. We've already had graduations at Swanville as well as Upsala. It's been nothing but positive feedback. And then we're just gonna wrap things up. So I got a couple charts here. It's called National Incident Based Reporting System. The good news is you can see our crime rate from 2021 to 2024 is declining. That's great news. Again, these figures do not include Little Falls, Motley, and all the peers in Royalton. This is just the Morrison County crime rate. Now, if you look at the other chart, you're gonna notice it's labeled 2024 BCA crime rate. This one, you're gonna notice that we're ranked 3rd for crime rate out of, I believe there's 14 counties comparable. And just so you're aware, we're ranked 7 out of 14 for population. So now you might ask, what does this mean? I can tell you that we switched to NIVERS back in 2020, 2021. It's a national incident-based reporting system, and you're supposed to report on the way the crime comes in. So if dispatch gets a call, and let's say during the day they have 5 gas drive-offs, it's labeled theft, gas drive. That's the way it's supposed to be categorized. Theft, gas drive-off. The issue is, out of those 5, we might get all 5 of them resolved later on because somebody put their card in and they said, hey, there was no ill intent. I thought it read, but I had no idea. So then later on, it's gonna get classified. It's gonna get wiped out. It's not gonna say theft. It kind of took care of itself. But we still list it and categorize it as a theft because that's the way you're supposed to be doing it. And there has to be consistency. And I can't tell you that every county's following that, but we are. So that kind of shows you where we're at there. This chart is based off Group A and Group B crimes, and they're crimes categorized against persons, crimes against property, and crimes against society. And I will tell you, our numbers for this chart lead by destruction, damage, vandalism, and property. We had 127 total complaints regarding that. Followed by fraud. We had 54 complaints regarding that. That's our scams, phone calls, online scams, identity theft, government impersonation scams. And then there's the Group B, and that's our DUIs and liquor violations. Normally, the liquor violations are going to include alcohol to minor, open container, underage drinking, things of that nature. With that, I'm going to open it up if there's questions, because I do know we got to get 2 speakers here yet.
Thanks, Sheriff. Commissioners, Commissioner Moran?
Sean, on the DARE program,
Yes, sir.
like the city of Little Falls or the school district, is it the city's responsibility or are you able to get into these other schools?
That's a great question, Commissioner. So normally in the past, there's always been somebody designated from the city of Little Falls and we just work together. As of right now, they have not implemented their program. I think they have someone trained. So we're just sticking to Upsala / Swanville, and we're asking all the other chiefs within our county to kind of support their own schools at this point, just because it costs money and it's time, right? And to do the curriculum right, we're just really starting baby steps and hopefully expand. But again, we're looking at just the county for the sheriff's office. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it'd be nice to get it everywhere.
Yes. I agree.
Commissioner Casper?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sean, question to you, and I don't know that you have an answer for this, but you showed a chart where the crime rate seems to be gently going down the grade. Do you have any explanation what's causing that?
Some of it might be just education. It could be our news releases, because you gotta remember, if there's 15 mailboxes that get demolished, that's 15 separate incidences. And I know we've had a rash of them years prior, and that kind of stuff seems to be slowing down a little bit. It still happens. But everything has its own valid number. And like the gas drive-offs I talked about, it could be 30 of them, but they're all taken care of, but there's all 30 accounted for. So I don't have a good explanation outside of that sometimes things do slow down, and luckily it's declining.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Winter.
Going back to when we just implemented the body cams within a year or two or whatever it's been. That's a lot of information on these body cams. So what happens when a patrol officer comes in, he's got this shift of 8-12 hours with body cam video, I'm assuming, where does that go? And is it reviewed continuously, or is it unless there's a crime? So if someone did a crime a year ago, I'm assuming you can access that. Well, let's see, you do more of that on the 5th of whatever. Can you explain a little bit how that works?
Yes, Commissioner. So yeah, we call it the cloud. It goes into a secure cloud. IT could probably give you a better explanation what that means, but it's the cloud and it's secure. But as far as normal day-to-day activities, we're able to label each incident. There's like a chart that you can pick from. Is this an arrest? If it is, it's going to be secured and locked up for a certain amount of time. If it's just a traffic stop and it's warning, it's going to know that, okay, it's going to have to be saved for X amount of months, and then it's going to veer off. But anything of value that could potentially go to court, or there could be a potential lawsuit, whatever the matter may be, you have the option right to label that so it's secured. As far as who can review it, the deputy themselves and or correctional officer themselves can review their own data. And then, of course, the supervisors will review every incident. So there's a lot of time that goes into it. We want to make sure everybody's coding it properly. And then we're making sure that if there are certain recordings that could be used for training purposes, we're bringing that up as well, because I think we can all learn from each other's mistakes.
Great explanation, thank you.
Commissioner Blake?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sure. The body scanner that we installed, you've obviously used that extensively. I have to ask, prior to that, we would have individuals scan at a different location. We paid for that. Are we doing any scanning for any outside entities other than just sheriff's department?
As far as I know, Commissioner, we are not unless requested, and if requested, I haven't heard that. But just to go back, if we did have to scan an inmate and or we felt compelled to, because maybe it was a traffic stop that involved drugs, we're always going to do that strip search. So no matter what, even when they go through the scanner, that's still part of our protocol, because nothing that we're aware and we know it is 100%. But anyway, if we did have to utilize another scanner, we would call that agency. They would be free of charge. They wouldn't charge us, but it was just our deputy and or officer's time that we're paying for to go to that separate location. But as far as I know, there's no other agencies using ours as of right now.
I'll just thank you for that, and I'll say thank you for a very complete and very intense report here. A lot of information, a lot of good information for us, and thank you for being here with us with that.
Thank you, guys.
I just want to say thank you to you to bring this forward and make sure you thank your deputies for our appreciation for the work that you do.
Thank you, sir.
And at this time, I'd like to bring Ms. Becky up and Tim.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. I'll just do a quick intro. So Becky Olson, she reached out to us, I want to say last summer. July, she's like, hey Sheriff, how about we want to start a program. She's like, I want to volunteer my time. But I'm looking at teaching inmates like how to write, how to do creative writing and poems. And of course, we didn't know where this was gonna go. And it's just really taken off. And actually, the Morgan County Record has submitted some of these poems already for these inmates. So Becky she's local here, Little Falls. She has a degree in English and psychology. So she's gonna talk a little bit about that creative writing. And then we'll have, our jail programmer kind of talk about Teen Challenge and some of our programs. So I'll turn it over to Becky. Thanks for being here.
Okay, thanks. I am so glad this room cleared out. I work with kids and I can go in with inmates, but I'm not a crowd speaking in front. So I'll try to read this fast, but when Sheriff Larson called me yesterday, I wanted to write some things down because otherwise you will be here till tonight. Anybody that knows me knows. Okay, so, I don't go into the jail to teach writing because I feel sorry for inmates. And I'm not under any illusion that these are all modern day Hemingways just waiting to be discovered. I do this because I believe everybody has value and a story, and I want to help inmates who want to tell theirs or who might want to write or create new poems or stories. I just want to do my small part to help others find hope. If one heart or mind is redirected or inspired to discover an interest because that person found the joy and value of expression through writing well, that might be one less offense taking place in my community, one less fatherless child, or one less person addicted to drugs. Broken people stay broken if they don't believe they have value. I don't give these inmates value. I just help them see that they have it by working with them on healthy ways to bring out what's on their minds and in their hearts. Some people won't change. We all know that. Others just need the right key to unlock their potential and creativity. And I believe writing and reading can be that for some. I was asked to speak to a service group once about this project. And after a few minutes, we did a couple of the exercises that I do with the guys in jail. Professional adults enjoy the simple opportunity to be expressive. Everyone has something to say and has fun when given the opportunity to be creative and share something that they imagine. I got the same kind of smiles there as I get from inmates who read aloud something that they've just written. It's like those smelly stickers we had as kids that look like fruit shapes. You see them, but you don't know their full potential until you scratch and sniff. Then you know what's hidden behind that picture. I've told inmates that whether they wear an orange jumpsuit in here, well, in jail, or a suit and tie out there, there's freedom in writing poems and stories that will stir their imagination and maybe help someone else laugh, learn, grow, or think twice. I tell them that they matter, but that their words will outlive them. I challenge them to consider their legacy, and I ask how they want to be remembered. I stress that reading, writing, and increasing their vocabulary will help them better articulate what they want to say, help others understand what they mean, and can help them find the courage to communicate clearly and authentically. We talk about the difference in therapeutic writing, like their private journaling, that's just for them, and the kind of writing that others might read, whether it's a letter, a nonfiction essay, or poems or stories that they might one day hope to publish. Many of the guys I've worked with are eager to just do something good. We usually begin by, I hand out supplies that should keep them prepared to write outside of class. I don't want to stir their excitement for healthy expression and then not give them the tools to practice. I bring journals if they want, page flags to mark what they're working on, pencils, erasers, a folder to keep their stuff. One Wednesday, a guy said one of the other guys went to wake him up. He'd been depressed because his friends and family pretty much quit communicating with him once he got to jail. He just wanted to stay in bed all day. The other guy told him, hey, it's the writing class today. So he jumped up because he didn't want to miss it. He thanked me for giving him that to look forward to. I usually begin with poetry. You think tattooed tough guys would roll their eyes at this, but they don't. We talk about the value of poetry and how it's a universal language that evokes emotions, images, and gives life to the lifeless. I've gotten permission to show Jimmy Baca's inspiring documentary, and Jimmy Baca, for anybody who doesn't know him, he was an inmate in Arizona in a penitentiary years ago. He had an extremely abusive, bad, tough childhood, ended up in prison because of drugs and fighting and bad. He ended up learning how, he was illiterate when he went in, and he learned how to read and write. He is now like world famous published poet. He is just a phenomenal man. He actually was one of the ones that I got to help judge poetry contests that we did for the inmates. And anyway, okay. So we usually cover some key terms or tools for helping them learn to write better, like alliteration, metaphors, imagery, etc. That will help them if they want to keep writing. One example of a writing exercise is I ask someone to describe something. It's usually like the wall clock or a door handle. Just to give the physical attributes of that thing, just describe it. So they do. And then they each have to write a poem about that thing. You would be amazed at what these guys come up with, especially the ones who are hesitant to pick up their pencil because they don't want to be embarrassed. I am blessed to read words from hearts that have hid behind anger, humiliation, addiction, fake or real, toughness, loneliness, and the realization that they have made poor, stupid, and dangerous decisions that have affected more lives than just theirs. They have seen things through their writing that they hadn't noticed before. Another exercise I do, I call the 3 key word exercise, where I read a paragraph from a book, and then I reread it, pausing after each sentence, while they write down only 3 words that will help them remember what that sentence said. Some of those sentences are long. Then using only those 3 key words for each sentence, they have to rewrite the paragraph. It's a great exercise because they get a framework to write from. They don't have to just come up with something. One time an inmate said, that's hard. I should have listened better. I didn't think I was such a poor listener. Maybe I should work on that. I've heard how someone used to hate writing and reading, and now they can hardly stop. One guy asked how to begin writing his autobiography. I talked with him about nonfiction essays like memoirs and suggest he start there because writing an autobiography is a pretty daunting task. After that, now I bring in creative nonfiction essays and we'll read parts together, and I bring copies for those who want to finish reading them on their own so they can see how to go about doing that. I bring poetry, old, new, long, short. We read them together and talk about how the simplest, most insignificant thing or event can be written to create images, feelings, moods, etc. We sometimes do a brown bag exercise where they draw a noun or nouns or verb or verbs, and it's usually 2 or 3 of each. And then they have to use those unrelated words to write a poem or start a short story. And then we go around and they read them out loud. One inmate asked if I'd help him improve his penmanship so people could actually read what he wrote. I purchased a couple of workbooks from an old homeschool resource I use. And the next time I came in, they let me come in a half hour early. And I brought a folder so that he could keep these books in there so other guys wouldn't see, because it was kind of juvenile learning penmanship. And he said, I don't care who sees it. I just want to write better. He didn't care to hide it. So I stress the importance of having thick skin when it comes to hearing critiques and seeing comments and edits on things they've written. But if they want to write well, especially if they ever think they might want to be published, they have to get used to being challenged and learn that that's going to help them be a better writer. A few guys have been bummed when they're preparing to be transferred or released because they won't get to come to the writing group anymore. I've been asked, can you come up to Adult and Teen Challenge or another jail they're being transferred to so that they continue in the writing workshops? For this reason, I rented a post office box and I opened a designated email for correspondence. Many inmates, former inmates, have wanted continued guidance, advice, or support for their writing. I've received letters of thanks that are deeply rewarding, and many have included poems or other pieces that they're working on that they've asked me to look over. And I always include a self-addressed stamped envelope when I respond. One inmate said, I always hated writing in English. Now I love it. I love reading and writing. Your passion is contagious. Another wrote, since I took this class, I finally started to write to my mom and my daughter. I should have done that a long time ago. That same inmate asked if he did win the poetry contest that the record generously gave us a page where he asked, could my mom get a copy so she can see my name in the paper for doing something good? So when I've been asked who I work for, I just say no one. I just see value in writing well, and I come here to help you find the freedom, joy, and healing in writing that I found. and I just love what I do. So I'm gonna close by, if anybody has any questions for me outside of here, why I do this stuff, that's fine. I just didn't want to take up this time talking about me. Okay, this was the Morrison County Record gave us, they're gonna do this bi-monthly. I have started a great relationship with the editor there. He's been just real supportive and wonderful, and as Sean has. So I'll just read one of the first place tie for the first contest that we had. War at dawn. At the crack of dawn, I lace up my boots, my face clean shaven. I choose my weapon, hold it in my hand, its sharp point aimed at victory. Like the bloodline I follow, today I too will go to war. I breathe deep, aim. When I hit my mark, instead of the burn from a rush through the blue vein that runs along my arm, my pen will fan flames of stories as its point follows the blue line on new paper. For my pen is mightier than the needle. It's just amazing when you unlock, and they know, I don't know what they're in there for, and I'm not there to feel sorry or anything. It's just, I just want to be part of the help. Not part of the help, kind of a part of the problems. And these guys are great to give me this opportunity. So.
Wow, that's very impressive, Becky, and I'm happy to see you. It's been a long time. We got to know each other and like different couple decades ago or a decade and a half ago, and she's always been the one fighting for the weak, and she's a very impressive lady, and I can't believe that poem. That was incredible.
That was just one. You'd be surprised at like what some of these guys, you just give them something simple to write about. And like the clock, these guys, they're not stupid. They know, well, I mean, some of them, and obviously they didn't make a wise choice to get in there, but they'll write about the time and how the hands of time wave goodbye as life goes on for others, but not them, kind of thing, you know. And so sometimes just
what a simple thing that can change a person's life. And you think you're in their shoes, that of course they're solitude, the days are long, give them something to do and get their brain active, and maybe, you know, it will change their life. And like Tim would always say, you change one person, that's all you can ask for.
well, that's just it. And exactly. And one person, and like when I get letters, I feel like it's Christmas because it feels so good to have done one, you know, I'm no magic pill any more than anybody else's, but you know, any little thing you do that can, you know, I tell them, if you guys are busy writing, you're not out doing whatever it was that got you in here.
That's right. Very impressive. Thank you for being part of the school. Gentlemen, anything, Becky?
Mr. Chair, I just, you know, and Becky and I too go back, we go back a long time. But I want to say thank you for your willingness to make an impact in an environment that I'll just say the higher percentage of people are uncomfortable with. You are that individual that I've known for so long that has that unique ability to impact people in a strong way through subtle interaction, and it's a tremendous gift. But I think your gift to us on being willing to use that in a way for the good of society is fantastic, and this has been basically your calling card. This is you. This is Becky Olson in your life, and I couldn't be more grateful to have you be a part of this family and share yourself and in your gifts. So thank you.
Thank you. I have been asked, aren't you scared to go in there? And I'm like, I had breast cancer. I think I can go in the jail.
You have somebody?
Yeah, just something short. Becky and I back a ways too. Becky, thank you. You know, there's something about the human heart. If we can drain some of the pain through the pen, we can save a lot of brute force doing foolish things. Thank you for being there for these folks. I know a lot of them, the world's throwing the book at them, their family has, and they're at the end of themselves, and for you to bring them hope, that is sweet. It's of the Lord. Thank you.
You're welcome. And one guy that is up in Beltrami now, he has written a couple times and he thanked me. He said, I, until he started writing to his mom and his daughter, he said, he said, my letter was the only one, and that's encouraging him to keep writing up there. So.
That is so precious. Thank you so much, Becky. God bless you.
All right. Anything else for Becky? Tim?
The sheriff put in his sheet there, the programs. I just wanted to talk about a little bit about a couple programs. About a month ago, we got in the jail, we're actually doing Teen Challenge by Zoom. If a resident has insurance, we're doing Teen Challenge through Zoom, 3 days a week, 2 hours a day. And we have 3 residents that are doing that right now, and it's going really good. So as they're actually incarcerated, we're already starting that road to recovery is what we're doing. They're not in a Teen Challenge Center like in Brainerd or Minneapolis, but they're starting to do it through here. And then when they get out, they can either go to Teen Challenge or they can finish on Zoom. So we got that going. Then another thing I wanted to talk about real quick, just got this going yesterday. We're going to start next week. We've got a new program called Grief and Loss Counseling, where I have a volunteer coming in and they're going to meet with inmates that have had possibly a divorce, a loss of a mother, a loss of a father, a loved one. They're going to help them with that. And if they need further counseling or whatever steps they need, we're going to get them going on that road to help them. So we're going to start that next week. So all the programs are going good. We've got a lot of great volunteers like Becky and Paul of them. They're doing a phenomenal job. Inmate count is in the high 30s right now. We're getting sometimes 15 inmates going to these programs. So we're getting a great turnout. So the programs are working. Road to recovery is working. So we're pushing forward, keep going. And if anybody's got any questions about any of the programs, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Thank you, Tim. Commissioner Gasper.
I got something. Tim, you guys keep up the good work and you're gonna work yourselves right out of a job. Keep it up.
That's their goal.
Keep it up.
Well, I think it's what's very important, and a lot of people don't see this, that when a person breaks the law and comes to jail, they're kind of forgotten. And if you don't forget them, but help them to remember that you can get back to where you were or even better. I think it's very important that we try to make them better when they leave here than when they got here. I think that's always been my motto. Whether it's through Teen Challenge, whether it's through our rec program twice a year, Wellness in the Woods, which is peer support, church on Sunday. Some of these clients, customers that we bring to gym, they've never been to church in their life. And I tell them, go try it once, go try it. And they'll go every week. So instead of 2-3 people going to church, we get 12, 15 people going to church. And they're learning, they're bringing the Spirit of the Lord in them. And Tuesdays, we have a set free program, and our volunteer brings in movies of people that have been in prison or have hit the bottom, rock bottom, and how they got their faith and they found the Lord. They'll watch this movie. 15 inmates will go there, they'll watch this movie, then they talk about it afterwards, and it's helping. You see inmates walk out of the classroom, they got tears in their eyes. It's helping. You try to make as much positive out of the negative as you can. Sometimes it's tough with some residents. I don't like to use the word inmate. With some residents, it's tough, but you try. And even a little bit can mean a lot. Could be 6 months down the road. Because a lot of these people, there's somebody out there that loves them. Their mother, their father, their wife, husband, grandma, grandpa, whatever. So you try to help them a little bit, and every little bit helps. And if that's something, you can see it. You can see it.
Anything else, Sheriff?
Well, good. I want to thank the board for allowing us to come forward and having the guest speakers. I know we've been a little lengthy, but it's important stuff.
Thanks to each and every one of you.
Thanks, Tim. Thank you, Becky. Nice seeing you again. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you, Sheriff, as always.
Thank you.
Just keep up the great work, you guys.
Thanks. Have a great day, everybody.
God bless.
God bless you.
Next on the agenda will be extensions report. Morning.
Good morning. I brought a guest with me as well. The timing was perfect. This is Bryn Golden, and I'm gonna let her talk a little bit about herself, but she is our new 4-H summer intern. She just started yesterday, and so I'm let her.
Yeah, like Becky said, my name's Bryn. I'm super excited to be an intern for 4-H. I'm gonna be a senior at the University of Minnesota Duluth. I played tennis there, and I was the president of the Bandana Project, which is a student athlete led mental health organization. I'm a double major in elementary and special education. Lots of volunteer hours in the Duluth public schools and Superior School District. I'm super excited.
Well, welcome. Nice to meet you.
Where are you from, Bryn?
I'm from Brainerd.
From Brain? Fantastic. Welcome aboard.
So we're working on, we're gonna keep Bryn pretty busy this summer. On the board report, we're wrapping up our spring programs. Our shooting sports program, archery, is winding down. We'll be looking at starting shotgun in our air, rifle and wildlife, programs. Clover Buds is wrapping up for the spring as well. Our ambassador program takes time off for the summer. Cluck and Hatch was our hatching program. We buy incubators and get fertilized eggs and go through a 3-week process of helping people hatch out their own birds. So fingers crossed, we see some of those at the county fair. We did have a pretty good hatch rate this spring. And of course, our project nights are wrapping up too. We are currently in full force county fair planning in the extension office. Running reports, our deadlines were just May 15th to get animal IDs in, to get county fair projects signed up to go to the fair. And so we're working through all of those. We've been made 1,000,001 copies on the copier for summer day camps that we'll be doing. So we'll be getting those out to our schools in the county, and hopefully those flourish as well.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for Becky.
Commissioner Casper, go ahead.
What kind of eggs are you all hatching out, you mentioned?
So last year was our first year and we did broiler chickens, but my timing was off, so they were too big for the county fair. So this year, we started a little bit earlier in February and we got some fertilized white leghorns.
Nice.
And so, of course, you can't sex an egg, so we don't know if they're, gonna get a lot of boys or a lot of girls or 50-50, and we hope maybe 50-50. And so they'll have a couple of options. They can do a breeding pen, which is 2 hens and a rooster, or they can do an egg production pen, which is just 2 hens. So hopefully that'll work out for everybody to be able to bring something to the fair.
We got it great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome.
All right, if you don't have any other questions for me, I appreciate your time. I'm so glad this worked out for me to introduce Bryn. I hope you all have a good rest of your day.
Commissioner Casper, Commissioner Blaine.
Oh, I just want to say that we recognize that this is like the busiest, most tumultuous time as we walk those days up to the county fair. And so we recognize all of those efforts and all that interaction that's going to take place, and the days will go by very fast, and evenings, as we know. So,
And
thank you.
of course, an open invitation. I hope to see all of you there.
Of course, absolutely.
When is the county fair?
It's June 26th to the 29th. We gained Sunday this year, so you have another day option to get out there and check it out. Stop by the Forage food stand, get up some good fried food, and check out the animal shows that'll be going on all those days, and also the exhibit building where the 4-Hers general projects will be.
Mr. Chair, where did the time go? It seems like you were just talking to last year, it's like, wow, how many times the county fair? And again, I look at your schedule, we're getting one of them good, you don't have any time.
I would be an helper.
Yeah.
We're grateful that you're bringing.
Commissioner Casper.
Well, I was just gonna Did you say June 26th to 29th?
Yes.
It's only a month and a week away.
Yes, if you go on the County Fair Board's website, they have a spinner ticker. And I looked at it once and I had to turn it off because it kind of scared me how fast the time is really going. It is coming up, yes, very quickly.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Nice meeting you, Brian.
Thank you. Nice to meet all of you.
Nice to meet you. God bless you guys.
Administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have anything to bring before the board today, pending any questions you may have of me.
Any questions for Administrator LeBlanc? Hearing none. Committee reports. Do we have the dates? Jonathan?
Yeah, we'll go May 25th through June 7th.
Started off is Commissioner Wincher.
On the 27th, we have a planning session at 8:30. That evening at 6 o'clock is a PC BOA, but again, there's no planning commission that night, just board of adjustments. On the 3rd, there's a board meeting here at 9 o'clock. And then on the 3rd also of June, there's a feedlot rulemaking here at the government centers from 1:30 to 3:30. So again, it's just something if you want to know what's going on in the feedlot industry. Anybody able to attend that? And then I know we're going to get off the calendar, but there's also a virtual on the 19th of May, which is the same thing, and that's 1 to 2:30, so you can't attend that. Then on the 6th, Public Works at 8:30, that covers good.
Thank you, Commissioner Wincher. Commissioner Moran.
Friday, May 30th, Central Minnesota EMS at Stearns County Service Center at 10 o'clock. And then Wednesday, June 4th, there is a water plan task force here at the county boardroom also at 10 a.m. And that'll do it.
There's took care of mine for me. Commissioner Blaine.
Mr. Chair, I'll just say that the 26th of May is a Memorial Day, so the courthouse will be closed that day. On the 27th, with the planning session, Mr. Chair, I'll ask to be excused to award a couple of scholarships that morning at Royalton, at the high school in Royalton. So I will most likely not join you here. On Thursday, June 5th, there is recognition for Carol Anderson from 11:30 to 1 o'clock at the Initiative Foundation for the work that she's done in economic development. I would love to be there, but I will have a conflict in my schedule, so I will not commit to being there, but Commissioner Casper, I hope that that you would be able to, I think it's important that someone from the county board is there and would speak at least a few words to recognize her. Matt, you are also going to be there. That week. So I think that that would be good. That's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Casper.
Yeah, you guys have covered me all except that, I do plan to be there on June 5th with Carol Anderson at the Initiative Foundation. That was from 11:30 till 1. And, just a quick question, Matt, you have, signed us up for that RSVP, I take?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Casper, the initial note came out for the event, but the invitations have not. So
Okay.
technically no, but I did let them know ahead of time we're coming. but still waiting for the formal invite.
Okay, thank you. The only other thing is that Commissioner Blaine is gonna have to write my speech. Other than that, I'm covered. Thank you, Ken.
All right, anything else, gentlemen? Administrator LeBlanc,
No, Mr. Chair.
hearing none, being adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you guys for everything.